Hello guys, welcome back to Super Guy Boy Show, and today I'm gonna do another JoJo video, this time seeing who is the strongest JoJo main antagonist. So this is gonna be basically what the title says. We're gonna be ranking the JoJo antagonists from part 1 all the way to 7. I will not talk about part 8 as I haven't finished that part. I barely even got halfway because of this stupid ass arc. But I will be talking about part 1 to 7, and we'll be throwing a little honorable mention for the Purple Haze feedback villain Volpe. But before then, it's time for the weakest to the strongest, and I will be including for the first part a little character that is one of my favorites, and I know y'all may think why include him, but you'll see why in just a moment. So yeah, strongest. There'll probably be some disagreements in this list, but whatever, because this is my list of what I feel like would win or who is the strongest JoJo villains. Now, starting off at number 12, Dio Brando with Scary Monsters. Now, he doesn't technically count as the main villain, but he's basically like the whole like primary villain throughout before Funny Valentine takes over around the last half of Steel Ball Run. For the first half, it's basically Dio Brando as the villain. And I know I did a video on him talking about why his stand is one of the strongest, but I feel like with compared to the overall JoJo villains, he is pretty much the weakest one. Nothing taken away from how powerful his stand, but I feel like in his situation, he's pretty much screwed because he's basically dealing with a lot of like reality bending, like gravity shifting, and just like overall like breaking through dimensions. So this kind of puts him at a low place. Stan's still pretty powerful and scary, but for this situation, he'll have to be in last place. Number 11, Dio Brando. That might be a surprise for those who are like in the JoJo community thinking that Dio Brando with his vampire abilities, and he's basically still peak compared to part 3 where he's unable to use most of them, but still I think compared to the stand users he's going to be fighting against, just like with Diego Brando, he's going to be losing to a lot of them because still with his vampire abilities making zombies, making like weird man animals, making like people freeze and then breaking them apart in like pretty fast speeds, he's gonna still be facing reality warpers and time bending stand users and just like ultimate life forms and all that. So it's already gonna be hard enough for him to battle against, especially the fact that he can't see stands. And that's just like one of the biggest disadvantages for a non-stand user, if you're like, unless you're ultimate cars or someone like that. But still, nothing to take away from how powerful Dio Brando is. He technically wasn't defeated, only mostly taken down before part 3. But even still, with a lot of the stand users he's gonna fight up against, he's just already kind of defeated in the first place. A tough opponent, but still, compared to the what we're about to face next, he's pretty weak on his own. Number 10, Whitesnake, Enrico Pucci. I'm gonna divide his stands because they're both like 3 different stages of himself and different power limits. So I feel like dividing them would be a lot more fair. Whitesnake is pretty much like the Swiss Army knife of like main antagonist stand users. For his first stand he has, it's pretty much powerful and being able to be used in a lot of ways. Like with his simple ability of illusions, he's able to put people in a dreamlike state. Yes, it's kind of slow, but you're able to melt someone unless they don't notice they're in a dream, which I would have guessed Steel Brando would probably notice before, but even still, with his other abilities, like being able to take away people's stand discs and everything, he's able. I can just see him like taking away like Dio Brando's vampire abilities or his memories or like giving him a direction. Like not only that, he can do Heaven's Door type of shit where he's able to give simple directions. Like he can put like do not attack Enrico Pucci and Dio Brando is like pretty much defeated. So yeah, I do see him as being pretty powerful, and the ideas of illusion is still pretty good, and he has basically like Emperor Crimson type of strength, being able to punch holes into people. But I mean, who else can't do that? But at the same time, also with a range of 20 meters, at least to be exact, it's never really stated how far his stand can go, but it can still go pretty far and being able to still donut people in there. But at the same time, I still see him as a little bit weak compared to the other stand users, but still, Whitesnake is a pretty powerful stand for a main antagonist. Number 9, Cars. Cars may not seem that strong, like after comparing it to Enrico Pucci's Whitesnake, but we do forget how basically above average human strength is not enough to basically defeat Cars. Doesn't matter if you like donut him, it doesn't matter if you cut off his arm, he's still gonna be alive. And plus, we were shown by Santana that he can like absorb people, vampires. He's still able to make zombies. He's basically the most intelligent, technically most intelligent main antagonist in the JoJo Bizarre Adventure history with a 400 IQ. He's still lost, by the way, but still, I think with that 400 IQ, he's able to probably take down most of the stand users in the entire franchise. Boneblade is still there, being able to cut anything. It doesn't matter how durable your stand is. He's able to cut it, except if you're the stand users, but we'll get to that one in a moment. But still, I don't think Enrico Pucci has a chance against Cars being able to absorb people. And plus, like, I don't think Whitesnake is fast enough to even take away his memory discs or anything of that nature. And once I feel like Cars learns about the illusions and the way it works, he's able to pretty much see through Enrico Pucci's easy ability to get past. So yeah, he's pretty much defeated in that nature. And number 8, Yoshikage Kira with Killer Queen. Bites the Dust wouldn't really technically help, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm here because of sheer heart attack. Sheer heart attack, being able to destroy anything with near its range is pretty goddamn powerful. Not only that, Killer Queen's normal bomb type 1 being able to destroy you as a whole is powerful enough. So basically, how I see this is that Cars tries to like touch him, but he throws a coin at him, Cars would touch it, and then he blows him up entirely, and he's just gone, like obliterated. Like Killer Queen, even if he touches you, he can still turn you into a bomb. So that's how I kind of see this interaction like going with it. And still, Killer Queen is pretty goddamn powerful in the franchise. The only issue is that Yoshikage Kira has like a goddamn ego complex, so he might lose in that nature. And plus, Cars still has that advantage of being faster and Killer Queen not being that type of like fighting combat stand. But with the idea of him just touching Cars and he's just ultimately blown up into smithereens, he still has a chance of beating him, and that's why I put him higher than Cars. Number 7, Enrico Pucci C-Moon. Again, Enrico Pucci makes another step up on this list with C-Moon. In terms of like speed and strength alone, C-Moon may seem a little weaker, and plus it's way more harder to control than Whitesnake being a long distance stand. It can only follow like basic commands. In terms of combat wise, it's pretty weak on its own, but still, when you consider its main ability, basically reverse gravity, like imagine this, imagine if your Cars or Kira, for example, and you're like basically like, all right, I already defeated these guys, I'm gonna go up and fight Enrico Pucci. And then you fall parallel. You don't know what's going on. You weren't prepared for that. And you just fall parallel and you either die by the degree or you get incapacitated. That is fucking terrifying. And that's not only going against like its main ability. If C-Moon is able to attack you directly, he can make you fly up on the sky and basically like die up there. So unless if you grab something, you're basically fucked with. And also, that's not also counting its invertibility, being able to turn your body inside out no matter where it punches. Now that might not matter compared to like Cars or Dio Brando, but being able to kick you up in the sky, and if you're unable to grab anything on, you are screwed. And plus all the debris that's falling over, and all the things that C-Moon was able to do was like disaster levels of like Chariot Requiem type of shit. Like this stand is terrifying and maybe not powerful in terms of speed and strength, but still it is powerful on its main ability alone, being able to destroy anything in its way by making everything fall parallel. Also, I did forget to mention that Enrico can still just invert his body if he's about to get a direct attack. So yeah, that's still pretty powerful on its own. Like, you can't even hit Enrico Pucci indirectly if he suspects it. He can just invert his body, which I don't know how that would work. I don't know how, like, bone structure. Like, I know gravity is a weird topic in JoJo, but still, like, you can't manipulate your bones all of a sudden. But pretty strong stand.